Hey everyone, checking in. I promised that I would be making more videos, more content, so here's what we're doing. Just checking in. Here in a minute or two, I'm going to explain to you how you can get a better finish on your jewelry with less work. It's not necessarily a finish, but how you can create less work because of the process and the tools that you're using. But hopefully you can hear me. I got the heaters going on really good this morning. I woke up and it's minus 5 degrees outside, so it took me a little bit to warm up after the drive in, which my drive is only like 5 minutes from my house to my shop, but it's still, when you get outside and it's below zero, just throw on more clothes, it's okay. But it's more of a mental thing, I think, than anything else. When you look at the thermometer and it says it's below zero, you're just going, ugh, you know. But in reality, you put a jacket on and you go from a heated house to a heated shop, and it's not too bad. But yeah, I just wanted to check in. And like I said, when people think of polishing, they think of putting a shine to a piece of jewelry or something, and that's true, but I think of it a little bit differently. I think of it as taking a piece of jewelry and removing all of the defects until there are no more defects. So like dents or scratches or anything like that. If there's anything in your jewelry that's not a clean finish, then that is what you're going after. So one of the biggest things that I have found, in my work and teaching other people as well, because like I said, my shop here, when I started it out a bunch of years ago, it was primarily a training center, and people were flying in from all over the world and taking workshops and doing training. And right about, actually it wasn't right about, but it was when COVID hit, nobody was flying in anymore. So I had to figure out something to do different just to keep the lights on. So we created our own line of jewelry. It's called Jewelry by Decory. I'll put a link in the description at the end of this. So we come up with 3 different distinct lines of jewelry that we produce out of the shop. And then I open it up to the community for custom jewelry and jewelry repair and things like that. And still, that is keeping us busy. All of the repairs that come in on a daily basis, the customers that come in and bring in their old jewelry that they was passed down by their grandparents, and it's just sitting in a sock drawer. And it's like, you know what, we can take that, pull the stones out, use the metal, and create something that the customer is going to enjoy and wear, and still have the sentimental value, saying this was my grandmother's stones and the metal and stuff like that. So that's one of the joys of being able to create like that, is you can still utilize some of that stuff that's handed down from centuries or from years or whatever, but it might not be, when it was given to you, it's looking like, yeah, that looks like grandma's jewelry, all right, So we can streamline it and make some cool designs, but that's kind of a sidetrack. But what I'm talking about is when we're creating jewelry using metal fabrication, using sheet and wire and things like that, the tools that we use will sometimes do damage to the piece when we're manipulating the metal, when we're forming the metal, when we're bending it and stretching it and twisting it. The tools that we're using are putting tool marks in the jewelry. So when it's all finished, then we have to go after all of the damage we've done to the jewelry in the process of making it. So I'm going to show you just a couple of tips today to help in that, to maybe get away from some of the damage that we're doing in the creation process. And a lot of it is just a mindset. It's like when you're working on a piece of jewelry, you formed it and you're putting a stone in it and something like that. When you're getting ready to polish it, you're looking at it, at all of the damage that's done when you bent the wire there's tool marks in there. So then you got to think, okay, how did that mark get in there, and what can I do to prevent that the next time I do it? And a lot of times it's just looking at the tools we're using and making slight modifications. I'll show you a couple of them that I do, and I'm kind of tedious about it. One of them is like my pliers here. These are pliers that I've had for forever. I don't even think they make these anymore, but they're my favorite pliers because they're small enough, but they're sturdy enough they don't bend. But when I'm working with them, in fact, I just picked up another pair here a while ago. These ones I found on the internet because I like that style. But when I don't know if you can see, but when you get them, like right in here, I don't know if I can touch it. Yeah, you probably can't see, but right in there on the area that you're actually using is not smooth. It's got grind marks in it from the manufacturing process. So I take a look at that and it's like, okay, that's going to cause a problem, because when I grab a piece of wire or a piece of metal and I'm moving it, I'm leaving tool marks with my tool. So I don't want to do that. So I don't know if you can see these, but I went in there and I've ground out all of those grind marks. I use like a sandpaper. I'll go in there with a sandpaper disc, and first I'll take out all of the scratches and the grind marks with like a 400 or a 600 grit, and then I'll go in later with maybe like a 1000 or a 1500 and just kind of smooth that all out, so that when I do grab something, it's not putting scratches in there. Also, another thing is like right on this leading edge here where the angle is, I'll soften that up a little bit. I'll go in there with some sandpaper or a rubber wheel, so that instead of the edge coming and being straight flat like this, it's just rounded off just a little bit, so that when you grab something and you twist it, it's not leaving that huge sharp edge right there, is not cutting into the metal. And also on the very tip, I don't know if you can see that, but I've ground that nice and flat. And then the sides as well, I've taken care of them. It's just kind of taking a look at the tools that you're using and saying, are these causing damage to the metal when I'm using them? Because if it is, and I'm guessing that it is, because usually they do, then it's like, okay, what can I do to prevent that or to lessen the damage that I'm doing the next time I use them? So just about every tool that I have, I've manipulated or modified it in a way so that it's creating less damage. Another example is one of the files that I use all the time this is a needle file. It's called a beret file. So it's got teeth on the flat side, but on the back side it doesn't have any teeth, and on the actual sides itself it doesn't have any teeth. When you get these, on the very side, on the very edge, the teeth they kind of stick out a little bit, and this right here is kind of a safe edge, they call it, so that when you're filing something, you can put your file up against it and file, and it's not going to cut into it. But when you buy these, the teeth are there a little bit, so that when you run that up against something and you're filing it, it's leaving little scratches. So what I've done is taken this very edge here, I don't know if you can see, that's kind of shiny there, but I've taken the teeth off of the very safe edge, the side, and what I've done is just like a whetstone. I'll put on a whetstone and just kind of grind it so that it's nice and flat, and then I'll polish it with I've got this stuff here. Let's see if I can find it. This is called yellow ochre. It's for like polishing steel. So I take this on an index card and I rub it on an index card, and then here's just a piece of plexiglass. So I put that on there, and then I'll take this and I'll rub that back and forth, and what it does is it polishes that steel. So now on the safe edge of this is a nice polished edge, so that if I run that up against something, if I'm filing and I run this file up against it, I can use it and it's not damaging the metal. It's actually burnishing it a little bit, shining it, just because the edge. So hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, reach out to me. I can explain it a little bit better. You can always contact me at doug@jewelrymonk.com, or go to jewelrymonk.com and reach out. And there's some good stuff there as well. So it's just a matter of, whenever you're working with your jewelry, the tools that you're using, you just kind of look at them and say, are these causing any damage that I'm having to clean up later, that's costing me time, and costing me in the end with the finished piece, you know. So instead of having something nice and flat and shiny, it's got little waves in it because you had to clean up some tool marks that you made with the tools. So just keep that in mind. Always keep, when you're working with something and you see a defect, ask yourself, how'd that defect get there? Did I cause that? And how can I prevent that in the future? So again, just always be in a process of taking a look at all of the tools that you have. Let's see if I can get this. Just kind of looking at all the tools you have and saying, are these things creating defects in my tools? All of these just about have all been modified in some way so that they create less damage when I'm creating pieces. Even my tweezers, they've all been modified. So it's just kind of taking a look at things and saying, how can I avoid excess work that I've created in the process of creating my jewelry. So hopefully that helps a little bit. And yeah, that's what I got for today. So thanks for stopping in. As always, if you ever want to check out more content, go to jewelrymonk.com and reach out to me if you have any questions, or if there's anything that you are thinking about or having problems with, reach out to me and maybe I'll make a video on that, because I'm always looking for stuff to make content with. So hopefully that you just wasted a number of minutes of your day in good form. So thanks again for stopping by, and I'll see you later. This is Doug Napier with the Jewelry Monk Studio. Take care.